Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode 6 of Coffee with Justine. My cat just walked through the back of this. I hope she just lays down. But we are being joined by my lovely colleague, Elizabeth Sherwood, here in a second. So let me try to get her online. Let's see if I can. Hold on. To join. I'm very excited not to be talking to myself today. There she is.
Hi.
I am so excited to have you as my guest host today.
I'm so excited to do this. Thank you everyone for joining, and I'm so pumped to talk about social media. And I have my coffee.
Oh my gosh, I love your mug. It is really fabulous. It is
Thank you.
It is iced coffee with Justine today. And so I put it in a tiki mug to keep with the theme.
Wait, that's so cute. And you have the gold straw. It couldn't be any better.
You know, we're saving the world today. We're saving the environment.
Yes. I hope all of you guys watching are enjoying a nice afternoon beverage as well.
Yes, whatever that beverage may be.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, thank you for joining. You are the social media queen, and I'm just very excited to have you. And so that's going to be our topic today. But before we dive in, I just want to show everyone the mug we will be raffling off later.
Yeah.
Very social media worthy. It says libraries where shh happens.
Yes, that definitely deserves an Instagram moment. That is so cute. I love it.
I was particularly proud of this one. So we will be raffling this off later to people in the continental US
Yes.
and at the end of the show. So hold on for that. So let's dive in, because I'm sure people are going to have tons of questions for you. But I think my first question for you is, okay, there are so many platforms out there. Can you tell us a little bit about each platform and how authors can use those platforms?
Yeah, this is a great way to kick it off, because I think one of the first things you have to ask yourself is, what platforms do I actually want to spend time on or be on, or what's going to make the biggest impact for me, and what my goals are. And Facebook is still the king of social media. I mean, they really kicked off this entire revolution, and they're still the largest social media platform in terms of users and visitors. I believe it's something around 2/3 of the world's population is on Facebook. So if you just think about that, I know, mind blown. So Facebook is the largest. As we all know, Facebook, you can have business pages, you can run ads on Facebook. You can have private groups where you get together with like-minded people and talk about different topics. So Facebook really runs the gamut of everything. I think a lot of us probably use Facebook to stay in touch with our families and share things, but it can definitely also be used in a business aspect as well. And a lot of authors are really using it successfully to build community and to sell their books. The other platforms, of course, Twitter. This is more text-based. Tweets. You have a limited number of characters to get your thoughts across. And I really see a lot of the writing community on Twitter because it's what they do. They write. So I'd love to hear if some of you guys are on Twitter, and you can let us know in the comments here.
I have to say, as a writer myself, I have a very hard time being brief. And so Twitter is hard for me.
Yeah, you're like, this is actually my worst nightmare. I cannot. Yeah, I totally get that.
Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Twitter, in terms of staying up with what's happening within the industry or news, it is really, really great. And to me, it's kind of like keeping kind of tabs on like what's trending. I think Twitter is a really great place to be for that too.
Totally.
And then you have Instagram, which we're on right now. I personally love Instagram. Instagram has over 1 billion monthly users. It's a huge platform. They're constantly rolling out new features, and I think, we all love the gram. I think Instagram is is really great because you can show a lot more of your personality. It's a very visual platform. It's all based around photos and now really video as well. So Instagram's a really great place to be to really show off your book and for people to get to know you, because I feel like you can really show a lot of personality on Instagram. And then the last two that I'll kind of hit on are like LinkedIn, of course. So, business community. I'm sure many of us have used it when we're looking for jobs or you're networking professionally. That's also a really great platform if you are kind of more in that realm of like a business book, a professional development book, self-help. LinkedIn would be your spot. And then also TikTok, which is a really up and coming social platform in the past couple of years and has really, really taken off. And I think that if you're anywhere within like the young author YA genre, I think TikTok could also be a really great fit for you. So I had to give that a shout out.
Yes. And if you have ever spent any time on TikTok, it is a rabbit hole. And so expect to spend at least an hour on it. Easily.
Yeah. It's been stealing way too much of my time lately.
Me too. Don't worry. Yeah.
I'd definitely be curious. I saw that one of you guys said that you're on Twitter, and I'd be really curious if anyone is on TikTok or using it to promote their book. That would be really interesting to know. Some of you guys are jumping on that bandwagon.
Especially because it's the new one on the block. So
yeah.
I'm too. So for the different social media platforms, do you see that any specific genres gravitate to certain media platforms?
Yeah, I think kind of how I like touched on a little bit before in terms of like LinkedIn doing really well with like business books or professional development. I see people who kind of go to LinkedIn and start to build some thought leadership around the type of content they talk about do really well. And you can do that through kind of posting almost like blogs on LinkedIn that a lot of people kind of jump on and start sharing. So that's definitely a genre that succeeds there. Instagram, I feel like everything kind of has a place. I mean, you can truly promote anything on Instagram. And again, that's probably why it's one of my favorites. So I'd really say all things. I mean, in terms of users on Instagram, it's primarily like 18 to like 35, but I think we're starting to see like increases in like older demographics also jumping onto Instagram and using it more regularly too. Facebook, I would say if you're kind of more like, if your target reader skews a little older, I would go to Facebook. We're seeing that the users on Facebook aren't the users they used to be because a lot of the younger users are now going to either Instagram or to TikTok. So I would say like if you're, a novel writer and your primary audience is maybe like 40 and up or something, I think, and a female, Facebook would be a really great fit for you.
So interesting. Beneath the Crown podcast says that they're on TikTok. So
yeah, I was seeing that.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Haven't started book promo yet. That's okay. Kind of to that point, I think it's good to start like building community, building trust, establishing authentic connection, and then maybe you can start kind of talking about your book. I don't think you always have to go in for like the hard sell right away.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are your tips for using these platforms? Do you stick to one? Do you try multiple? I know this intimidates a lot of our IngramSpark users. I mean, sometimes it intimidates me. So yeah. What are your thoughts around this?
Yeah, I think that's such a good question because at the end of the day, we do have limited time and we are chatting with writers. Sorry, I had a little glitch. And you guys have to write. So that's a lot of your time. You have to make sure that you're having that dedicated time to write and to focus on it. So I think that picking probably the top two platforms that you really want to focus on would be a really good use of your time, unless you just have tons of free time. Then maybe you could kind of dabble in all of them. But I think that picking the two that make the most sense for you. So if you are like a YA author, you might want to do like Instagram and TikTok. If you're more of like a self-help book, maybe you want to do like Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any extra time, you could also kind of dabble in LinkedIn. So I think it's just kind of like thinking about where is your primary audience, You could do some light Googling and see like who is like the main demographic on each of these platforms. And also test. You know, it's okay if you start a Twitter account and maybe you tweet for like 3 months and you're like, this isn't really going anywhere. That's fine. You know, I think you have to be willing to put content out there and be okay with maybe it not taking off right away, or maybe not feeling like something you enjoy. Until you do it, you don't really know, right? So be willing to experiment and just kind of have fun.
I love that. Yeah, because to your point, you don't really know unless you get on the platform. You're like, oh, this is not for me, or yes, this is totally for me. So, and
Right.
you don't know where your audience is, which I think that's another thing we should talk about. Like, so how do people find their audiences on these platforms? To your point, there's like most of the world on Facebook, which is insane. So like,
Right.
how do these authors go about finding their audience on platforms?
Yeah, I like personally for me, I feel like the first place I would start would be like diving into hashtags and also just like the search feature across the different platforms. So Instagram is also increasingly moving towards search, kind of like how Facebook, you can like type into the search bar, like, I don't know, it could be something like support groups in Chicago. And then there would be a bunch of options that come up. You can start to search via keyword on Instagram as well. So I feel like Instagram is also going to continue to move in that direction. And with that being said, it's really great for you because it can improve your discoverability, but it also helps with research. So if you are, I keep using the YA example, but if you are a YA author, go onto Instagram, type in, you know, like YA books. Start looking at the people who are posting about reading YA books, because the Bookstagram hashtag alone, last time I checked, has over 30 million uses. So people are definitely talking about books. Yeah. And what did you say?
I said that's crazy. 30 million.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, Instagram alone has completely revolutionized the way that we discover books, and the way that we view books, and even the design of books. And I know that's something you probably know a lot about too. But yeah, I would start kind of searching those hashtags, seeing like what kind of people are diving into that type of content, and kind of taking note of that. And then maybe following those people, maybe starting to engage with those people, and be really targeted about who you're engaging with. You know, also bring in the people who are already supporting you, the people who are already like in your tribe, who are there for you, who are buying your book, because they're really going to be advocates for you. And by connecting with them on social, you're hopefully going to, you know, reach farther into their network. Because if they like what you're talking about, maybe a friend of their friend will also like what you're talking about. So that's kind of the cool part about social. It creates this like web of community, and it also, if you just putting it out there, following people, and just making sure you're staying engaged.
Yeah, which I think that's something that people kind of forget when they're on social media, is that at the end of the day, it's social. You can't just be like, buy my book, right? Which part of it is that. But so do you have any tips for, you know, how to have a well-rounded social media presence so that it's not all just, you know, plugs to buy your book?
Yeah, I always like tell people, if they come to me, if we're doing like social media consulting and they're like, no one is engaging with my stuff, or like my account's not growing, and I'll like look at their account and I'm like, you had 5 comments on your last post that you didn't even answer. Like, it's a two-way street, you know, like you can't just expect constantly talk to you and you not engage back with them. So it's so important, like every single comment needs to be answered, and like provide a meaningful answer. Like, you know, I know we all have limited time, but anytime you can like go out of your way to really connect with somebody, try to do that. I mean, it's really similar to working in customer service. Like, how do you make somebody feel special? How do you make them feel seen or heard? Doing that same thing on social is really going to give you a leg up and make you stand out within communities. So same with DMs. If people send you a DM, message them back. You know, don't let like a month go by and not return their message. And it could be nothing to do about your book, but that's okay. They might want to buy your book later on. It's all about building those relationships and building that community. I would say in terms of like your content mix, because yes, you don't want to be posting all about your book all the time, because as amazing as your book is, no one wants to see that because spoiler alert, people are actually really interested in you. And I know that might seem weird because you're like, I want them to be interested in my book, but I promise you, people are really nosy and they want to know like what you're eating for breakfast. They want to know what your relationship is like with your partner. They want to know where you're shopping. Like people really do want to know a lot about you. They want to know what you believe in. They want to know what you stand for. They want to know your values. And I think it's really important to tell people that, do like a get to know me video. Ask your audience to send in questions and answer them. Like do little polls within your Instagram story. Like really invite that type of engagement. So I would say maybe do a product mix or a content mix of like 60% like personal educational content. So stuff that kind of deals with what your book is talking about, but is kind of more just like educational stuff around that. And then the other 40% could be talking specifically about the book and what your book has to offer.
That's great. And if you, by the way, guys, if you have like a cute pet, like a cat or a dog, like totally put that on your social.
Yes.
Everyone loves pets. Yeah.
Everyone does love,
Yeah.
I've recently been really obsessed with cat videos. So if you have a cute cat, I'm 100% here for it.
Yeah, mine briefly made an appearance at the beginning. So
oh yeah, but I missed it. Maybe they'll come back.
Yeah, she's sleeping beside me at the moment. So you are the queen of Instagram in my eyes, and have taught me a lot about Instagram because I had a lot to learn, Elizabeth, and I'm still learning. I'm still pretty bad at it, as you know. I'm trying really hard.
You're doing great.
Thank you. So what specific tips do you have for Instagram, like understanding search optimization and things like that? What can you offer our audience, especially since they're on Instagram right now?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, guys, I could probably talk about this for hours on end. So I will keep this brief to like my top tips. But my main thing is making sure that your profile is optimized. Meaning, like when people come to your profile, are they instantly knowing what you're all about, and does it make them want to hit that follow button and continue to engage with what you're offering? So I would say, first things first, like what's your profile picture? Make sure that it's your face. Make sure that it's in good lighting. Make sure that you're smiling. Like people really love to see that, and they're instantly going to have a connection to you if you're really showing your personality in that way. Kind of back to what I talked about earlier with discoverability and search on Instagram, they are picking up on keywords. So use those keywords in your bio. So if you're a young author or a YA author, then put that in your bio. Or if you're, I don't know, writing like
mystery.
History. There you go. If you're writing about history, put that in your bio, like history author, or indie author, whatever you want to be searched around. Make sure that you make that clear in your bio. Make sure that your name is in your bio. Look at other people who are doing really, really well on social, and look what is in their bio and kind of copycat that. Like obviously not word for word, but take their formatting and apply it to your own messaging. So you really want people to read that and know what you're going to add to them or what you're going to bring to them that is of value. So if you are a history writer and maybe you do like a monthly series about like a deep dive into different eras of history because you're an expert, you could say like tune in every month for my history recap series or whatever. Really let people know what you have to offer. And also, if you're going to include any links to purchase your book or to your blog or author website or anything like that, I really recommend using a link hosting service like Linktree or something like that, to where people can click on it and they can see an array of links. So you're really giving people options. So they can go to your website, they can go directly to Amazon, they can go to Barnes and Noble. And that way you're not depending on just one link in your bio, but you're really giving them lots of different options to check it out. Those are just some of my high level tips.
Those are all really, really great. And I feel like we should just do an episode all about your Instagram tips at this point. Like they're all fabulous. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you guys can let us know. I know Justine has touched on a lot of topics on Coffee with Justine that we've realized, oh, we probably need a follow-up episode to this because there was a lot of questions. And if that's the same with this, we can definitely dive in deeper on later episodes.
Totally. So I think a question probably on a lot of people's minds right now is about money. And so this is always a big one that I get asked, and probably you get asked a lot on social, which is how much money should I be spending on ads on social? And also, where to spend that money? Do you have any insight there for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna, I think that doing paid advertising on social, it is something that takes time to learn and to develop a skill set around. It's also, though, accessible to everyone. And I would say the School of Google has taught me a lot. So if it's something that you really want to explore, I believe it's Hootsuite. They have like a whole training on it. There's a lot of different avenues for you to go out there and for you to learn. And also, kind of to my earlier point about experimentation, get in there and kind of try. I would say if you're just kind of dipping your toes in the water of boosting content, I would start with Instagram. I will say LinkedIn and Twitter ads are a little more intermediate. So I would either have a consultant kind of help you get started, or make sure that you really do your research, because the last thing you want to do is dump a lot of your hard-earned money into ads without kind of maybe thinking through or really understanding how that money is going to be distributed and if it's going to reach your goals. So I would start by boosting some content on Instagram. Start small. I don't think that you need to spend like $100 in your first one. Maybe spend not two, 10, maybe $10 over the course of like 2 to 3 days, and see how that does for you. Make sure that you do some targeting with that as well. Don't just boost it out to everybody. So if your primary audience is in the US, then make sure you select US. If it's in Australia, make sure you select Australia. And then you can go in there and also select the different interests that you want to target. So you could say, okay, I want to target people who are interested in young adult novels. Well, if they're interested in young adult novels, maybe they're also interested in what's something young adult? What's a show? You guys have, maybe they're also interested in like watching things on Hulu, or maybe they're also interested in, I think even like TikTok is an interest on
A clothing brand,
or a clothing brand. Yes. Yeah. You can really find like kind of like fringe interest like around like that audience, and you can experiment with those too. So it doesn't necessarily have to just be like people who are interested in YA books. It can kind of be things that general audience is also interested in. And to that point, sometimes it will even let you use really popular books as interest categories. So it could even be like you pick a really popular book in the YA genre and you say people who are interested in this book might also be interested in my book. So this is also another one of those things that could be a very lengthy topic to discuss, but to narrow it down, I would say just start small. Start by boosting on Instagram. Just as an understanding, Facebook Ads Manager runs ads through Facebook and also through Instagram. So if you want to experiment with Facebook ads, which I've always found to be very successful, you can start a Facebook business page and start a Facebook Ads Manager account, put in your credit card information, and from there you can really start running ads. So lots of resources out there, but make sure that you do your research before you jump in and spend too much money.
Yeah. Please don't spend a ton of money off the bat. And I always say that like Facebook spies on us, which is why they have so much good information about who to target. So, when you are thinking about that target audience, that's where it does take a little bit of work to like sit down and like truly think about who your reader is, because not everyone is your audience. You have to really take some time to think like, okay, who is this book meant for? And so it is really, really important to try to think about like the profile of those readers, you know, what age
Right.
range, yeah, what are they, I don't know. You have to think about who they are truly as people and what their
Right.
habits are.
Yeah,
So really
truly.
that.
Yeah, and one thing I left out is, pay attention to what organic content is performing well, because that's the content that you're going to want to boost. So the great thing about paid posts is that it doesn't have to be like a completely original thing. Like it could be a video that you posted the week prior, and you could be like, oh wow, people really, I got like 25 comments on that and 3,000 views, and that's more than I've ever gotten. It's like that's a sign. That's a sign it's telling you people really respond to that. So maybe that's the type of content you either need to create more of or you need to boost to reach even more
Exactly.
people.
Exactly.
Um, I do see Phoenix United said, don't forget about TikTok. And we did talk about this at the beginning. So after the pandemic, people have become financially independent on the app alone. Yep. And it is the easiest platform to get followers. 100%. I mean, there's people on TikTok who have been on there for only like 5 months and they already have over 1 million followers. And with that, they get TikTok creator accounts, which they then get paid from. So it really is kind of a crazy thing. You think about the gig economy that you could just get onto TikTok and build your whole career, but it's definitely possible. It is very, very easy to grow organically on TikTok right now. Like any social media platform in the early years, if you get on that quickly, you could really build like a substantial following without fighting the algorithm. So if you do have a passion for creating video and you feel comfortable with that, they're definitely right. It's a great place to go explore.
And recently I've seen books take off on TikTok.
Yeah.
So if you have an audience that coincides with the TikTok audience, infiltrating TikTok is a really good thing to do, because if you have a book that really resonates with them, they'll start making videos about your book and then they'll multiply, and it's just absolutely crazy. I went down a TikTok rabbit hole the other day at lunch. I'm not gonna lie to you, Elizabeth.
I do that like every day, so I completely get it.
They were entertaining.
Yes. Yes. I mean, the great thing about TikTok too is I feel like it just feels like ultra authentic to me right now. Like I think Instagram has become a little kind of glossy, like everything gets a little highlight reel, but I think TikTok still feels, I don't know, it's a little off the cuff. It's not super like edited or refined. And so, I mean, if you really want to put your personality out there on display, I think it's a great place to explore.
Yeah, this specific book too that I was going down the rabbit hole for is a spicy romance novel, and apparently some like spicy things happen in like chapter 3, and so it was all these reaction videos for like chapter 3. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
cool.
I could not get enough of them. I was like, oh my gosh, now I need to read this book. So there you
Yeah.
go.
That's
Yeah.
like a genius. Yeah, that's a genius idea to really get people like onto the challenges and stuff like that. So that's great.
Yeah, exactly. So before we open it up for any questions, do you have any parting thoughts for us?
Gosh, yeah, please write in your questions because we have a little bit of time to jump into some of those. And I'd love to hear what you guys are dealing with and things that you might be struggling with when it comes to social media. But I think that at the end of the day, you just have to be consistent. And I know a lot of people say that, but social media really is, it's really fun. It's great that you get to explore something, that you get to connect with people and build community, but it also is a lot about discipline and consistency and hard work. And, don't be afraid to take it seriously. I think some people almost feel like overwhelmed by it, but don't be afraid to just like grab the bull by its horns and say, I'm going to do this. Batch your content, get your content ready for the week, build out a calendar. I have a note on my phone of where I just like, when I have an idea, I just write it down. Don't be afraid to whip out your phone when you're somewhere and record something. I think that you just have to really be fearless about your pursuit of it and not worry about what people think. Because at the end of the day, you have value to bring to your audience. You wrote a book, like that's amazing. So people want that value, they need that value, and you just have to present it to them. So just take it as a challenge, think of creative ways that you can present that book to them without saying buy this. There's a lot of things that you can do, and again, people just really want to get to know you. So be yourself, show them who you are.
That's fantastic. And yeah, it's so true. They just really want to get to know you as an author, even as mind-blowing as that is. But that is what people want to know. They want to connect with you because it brings them closer to your book, crazily. So always keep that in mind. So do people have questions for us about social media? Could be about something else. We'll answer it. I love your blazer today. It is fabulous.
Thank you. I was just like, I'm just going to wear all the color. Beneath the Crown podcast says, love this valuable insight. Thank you so much. We appreciate you watching, tuning in.
Podcasts, even of themselves, are a type of social media. We love podcasts here at IngramSpark.
We do, and we have our UK Spotlight series, which is launching next month. So make sure you guys check that out. Yes. And Justine is one of our hosts. You're one of our hosts on our podcast. The Spotlight series is with Ben, but Justine's one of our amazing hosts.
Yes, but Ben is much more easy to listen to than I am, in my opinion. It's that British accent.
I was going to say he's British, so.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fabulous. She says, yes,
That's
I
awesome.
love you to share my voice. I love that. All right. We're not getting many questions.
I know. Do you guys not have any questions? No questions
You
about
were
social?
You were
struggling.
So I'll give it another second. Wait, here
they come. Okay. Let's see. Audrey Hines says, great content. Thank you, Audrey. I'm a children's book publisher and author. Any suggestions for posts to create more engagement? Oh, that's a great question. You would be really fun to sit down and kind of brainstorm with. I think as a children's book author, I always love the videos where the author reads the children's book themselves, because no one's going to be able to ever read it like you, with like that passion and interest. So I think that could be really cool. That could be an IGTV, or that could be a reel, which we didn't even talk about reels. But if you're not experimenting with reels on Instagram, please do it. It's like the golden ticket to engagement and to account growth right now. So it could be something like that. You could even do reels around engaging things to do with your children, and even that kind of like tie back to the book in terms of like themes or values or lessons learned. And so I think that there's a lot of potential there. But yeah, don't be afraid to kind of maybe do more video content. I think that's really engaging, and especially when it comes to children's books, because it's so visual, and I think people would react to that well.
Crochet Freeform is asking, do you have any tips for craft books?
I feel like the same would kind of apply, don't you think, Justine?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, like
I agree.
A lot of video content, like how-tos, like tutorials. People love tutorials. I will say, if you're doing reels with tutorials, make sure that you add closed captioning. Over 80% of people watch videos on silent, so make sure that your videos remain inclusive by having that closed captioning on there. But yeah, I would just like do a ton of tutorials. If you have a craft book that has like a lot of different crafts in it, like you could do like one for each of them. And that's a really great way to promote your book.
Yeah, and video content is really hot right now, so always keep that in mind. YouTube is going to be probably your place.
Yes. Post Office Fan says, dang, I'm late to the show. It's all good. I see Sid got back to you. Yeah, we're going to post this on IGTV and on YouTube later, so you can catch it there. Joy Darcy says, I just joined. Who are you? Well, hi, Joy. I am Elizabeth. Sherwin. I'm a digital marketing specialist at IngramSpark, and I'm joined by Justine, our author acquisitions manager. So we're chatting about social media marketing.
You broke up for a second. So she is our social media marketing manager.
Sorry about that. Yes.
So
someone says you can do tips and tricks for crafting techniques in your book too. Yep, that's exactly what we were saying. So that's a great idea.
Yeah. Let's see. Any others? Woo! I brought up the screen.
One more thing too, I'll say content. Don't think that just has to be for Instagram. You can also post that on TikTok, or also if you have like a YouTube feed. Oh, are you still there, Justine?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here. I think our feeds are going in and out a little bit. Okay. I think what you were saying was that that in addition to YouTube, you can also put it on IGTV.
Yes. So I was just saying, make sure, don't feel like you have to create video just for one platform. You can really multi-purpose that. And I really encourage that for all content. Make sure that you're like getting all that you can out of that content and not just putting it in one place.
Yeah. So Post Office Fans is asking, how does Aereo fit into the social media space at Ingram? So Aereo is one of our tools that you can use to either sell your book directly to the consumer or to help market it to them. So they offer things like previews of your book, and so that you can collect email addresses for your email list. So it does have some marketing tools built into it. So if that is of interest to you, definitely go check that out. Did we lose you?
Nope, I'm still here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then it looks like Audrey piped in with how often do you suggest we post? Kind of back to my previous point about consistency, post at the volume in which you can maintain. So if you can do 3 posts a week, do that consistently. If you can do 5 posts a week, do that consistently. I don't think that there's any kind of like perfect equation. I just think that consistency is key. Now, Instagram's going to tell you like you need to be posting every single day, and that's not reality for everybody. So I would just find what you can do to really create content that's high quality, that you feel good about, and stick to that with consistency.
Yes. And so Beneath the Crown podcast is asking, does IngramSpark allow pre-orders? We do. We allow pre-orders up to a year in advance, but we do need files to do a pre-order. So when you are setting up your pre-order, I suggest that you make sure that you truly have a finished cover and that you're not going to do anything to it, because if you do decide to do any revisions to that cover, it is very hard to change that data. However, when you are setting up a pre-order, make sure that both your pub date and your on sale date are the same date. And then if you have any revisions to make to that file, did I freeze? Can people still hear me? Oh no.
I can still hear you. I can still hear. Oh. You're back.
If you have any revisions to make, please make sure they are done well in advance of your pub date / on sale date, because we start printing and shipping books 10 business days before that date. So please keep that in mind. I wrote a whole blog post about this. So there's actually a blog about it on our website. So please go check that out.
And our blog is linked in our bio if you guys want to just find a quick link to get to that. Someone had asked about going live on YouTube and if that was possible. I see that Phoenix United already piped in and said yes, and that is correct. You can definitely go live on YouTube, and if you are doing it kind of how they mention, make sure that you really engage with your community beforehand, get them kind of pumped up on the live and let them know what you're going to be talking about. So they'll go tune in.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Do you think it's time for our trivia question to give away the mug?
I think so. My prized mug that says libraries are where shh happens. I just think it's so funny. Okay. For those of you who are new to our Coffee with Justine episodes, the way that this works is that if you are located in the US, you are able to win the mug. I just cannot ship this to far off lands, unfortunately. And so I will say the trivia question. I will say 1, 2, 3, go. As soon as I say go, please type your answers into the comment section. Whoever answers the question correctly first in the comment section wins this lovely mug. And then you can DM our lovely social media queens, Elizabeth and Sid, and they will make sure that I get the address to send you the mug. Now, I have been very, very late on sending the mugs because my shopping habit has not sent me the correct boxes to send said mugs. However, I did go to Staples and I did buy the correct boxes, and I got a stamps.com account, so I am going to be better. So I promise I will be better. So there you go, guys. So is everyone ready? All right. Here is your trivia question this week. Since we've been talking about social media, what social media platform is the currently most widely downloaded in app stores? All right, I'm going to repeat this one more time. Since we've been chatting about social media, what social media platform is currently the most widely downloaded in app stores? 1, 2, 3, go. And Audrey Hines got it.
I know. I was like, I already see the right answer. Yes, it is TikTok. TikTok has over 2.6 billion downloads already. It's crazy.
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So congratulations, Audrey. You got this lovely, lovely mug. And I promise I will ship it in a timely manner now that I have the tools to do so. So,
woo! Congrats, Audrey. That's awesome. I saw someone also said, are there going to be follow-ups to this live? So just to be clear again, this live will be saved as an IGTV. It will also be available on our YouTube channel. And if you guys do want us to talk about this topic more in the future, I'll run some polls in our Instagram stories in the next couple weeks, so you can check that out, and we'll kind of get a feel for what you want some more information on. But I would love to join you again, Justine, and chat about social media. This was awesome. So thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you for joining today. Like I said, I was just so happy to have you as a co-host, and this has been an absolute joy. You are always fabulous, fashionable, and have so much knowledge, Elizabeth. So thank you.
Well, thank you. That is so sweet. Thank you. All right. Well, bye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk with you soon.
Yes, thanks, guys. Tune in next month for episode 7, Minds Blown, of Coffee with Justine. And enjoy this beautiful weather, everyone. Get out and read a book. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.